Morning.
Good morning, PCC Robert.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Good morning, members on the call.
Good morning, Lion
Professor
Charity.
and
Good morning, Lion
Susan.
Nanura. Good morning, Lion Dr. Lawrence.
Good morning. How are you? Who is going to be the host? Ryan Munanura, who is presenting, or Kushemererwa?
Ryan Munanura.
Okay. All right. Let me do that right now. The live streaming is already set, so good to go.
Thank you.
Hello. Just testing.
Charity, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning.
And even see your screen sharing.
You have screen share?
No, it was on. It is on, so we can see.
But do you want? Because I've already shared.
No, what I'm saying, we've already seen your screen share, so everything is set. That's what I was
Okay.
trying to communicate. All is well.
Are we starting on time?
I think let's start. Yeah, it's important that we start on time. A very good morning to you all, dear Lions and guests. I will ask Lion JB Ntangale to lead us in invocation.
Good morning, everyone. Let's humble ourselves for a prayer. God our Father, we thank you for gathering us virtually this morning for a very important topic. Guide us in our deliberations so that the knowledge we acquire this morning may be useful in our lives as Lions, as citizens of this country. Bless the presenter and bless everyone that has gathered for this important presentation. Grant us the clarity of purpose, harmony in our discussions, and dedication to our mission. May your work of today bring hope and positive change to our communities and the world. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Lion JB Ntangale. And once again, a very warm welcome. It's always a pleasure to have you, dear Lions, even when it is virtual. Of course, we always prefer physical, then we can have hugs and everything else. But we can't do that every Saturday morning. It's always a very good pleasure to have you. We can see your names, and at some point we can see your faces. For now, I am going to request the district governor to officially open this discussion, and then I will introduce to you our presenter this morning. Lion Governor, over to you.
Thank you, our GLT coordinator and your team for the great job you're doing. A good morning to you, dear Lions. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for the topics you keep bringing to us every Saturday, and I want to thank the Lions who leave their precious beds and join us virtually to exchange and listen in. And most of all, we want to thank the Lions who have offered time to participate in these presentations and bring us all new sides of the coin. This was a very interesting one. When I saw the topic, I want to thank our PCC, Robert Mnanura, for offering himself and opening to us the world in the prisons and what is happening in their transformations. I want to thank all the Lions on the call, the different clubs that have participated in the Diabetes Month effectively and created awareness, and those who have continuously brought us awareness on road safety. I bring greetings from Masaka. Yesterday I was in Masaka, and we had quite a lot in the schools and even on the streets of Masaka when we had police with us full time. Let us continue to serve as we remember that kindness is a virtue and continue to serve our communities cheerfully. I officially open this morning discussion. Let us welcome our team, JLT coordinator and your team. Please take us on. I wish you the best of the deliberations.
Thank you very much, Governor Lion Tush na Turinda. And today we have a very special topic and a very special presenter. As Governor says, some of you will be looking at tackling recidivism and wondering, oh, what a topic. You will thank us and the presenter after this, once you've listened to what it is all about. Our presenter this morning, Lion Robert Munanura, frankly, needs no introduction to this team, but I will say a few things about him. Maybe many of you don't know for how long he has been a Lion. Lion Munanura became a Lion in 1998. A number of people on this call who are not yet born. And he's been active all the time. Now he's a very active member of Lions Club of Kampala host. He served at different levels in the club and the district until he became the pioneer governor for District 411B. Of course, at the time as a provisional district, and in a very rare way, in just one term, before his term ended, we already had a fully fledged district. And after that, subsequently, he became a multiple council chair for our multiple district 411 in the year 2021-2022. As you see on your screens, Lion Munanura is a graduate of the Faculty Development Institute, FDI, and a graduate of the Advanced Lions Leadership Institute, ALLI, and we've already seen him in trainings, but he's also a graduate of the prestigious Lions Certified Instructor Program. That's what you see there as LCIP. He is a progressive Melvin Jones Fellow, and he's married to Lion Sharon Munanura, a Melvin Jones Fellow. Outside Lionism, he's my OB at Intare School, and he holds a postgraduate diploma and a master's degree in management studies. He's a Herbert Humphrey Fellow, a mid-career management enhancement program that was sponsored by the US government at Michigan State University. As many of us know, Lion Robert is a civil servant in the Uganda Prison Service, which he joined in 1997, and he's risen through the ranks, and he's currently serving as the Assistant Commissioner General of Prisons, heading the Directorate of Production, Estates and Engineering. Fellow Lions, please welcome our presenter this morning, Lion Robert Munanura. Lion Robert, over to you.
Thank you very much. I hope you can listen. You can hear me well.
Yes.
I'll keep my video on as far as I can. If I can, then I'll hide it away so that I can save the streaming. But good morning, fellow Lions, guests, and Leos. In my opinion, this is a special topic that cuts across. And when I was asked that I can choose a topic of my own, I said probably we have had quite a good measure in terms of listening to what Lions do, how we do it, and training Lions. And so this morning I decided, let me talk about what I actually do on a daily. And this is prisons work. As introduced, I am a very senior member of the Lions Club, of the Uganda Prison Service. Actually, we share the same time. When I joined Uganda Prison Service, then I was able to now cater for my dues as a Lion. And basically the year I passed out to go and serve as a cadet, is also the year I joined the Lionism. Of course, many of you know my story of how I eventually joined the Lions and not Rotary. No regrets though, but my former OC at Masaka Prison, whom I asked to take me to a Rotary club, where my uncle, my late uncles, my late dad were members, he chose to take me to Lionism instead because he was a member of the Lions Club. And once we were there, it was hard to retract. Just at the back of my mind was the desire to serve. And of course, the rest has been said. And I think a number of you know much more about me in the lines of service. So today I want to talk about the other work that I do when I'm not a lion. And this is serving as a senior prisons officer. So I also chose a topic which is cardinal, because we talk about imprisonment, but what we really want to get out of that imprisonment is if people are in conflict with the law, if people are taken into prison, and if people are released eventually, are they released and they go back and they never come back? Or when they are taken away, then they come back the following day. So really, in understanding recidivism, it means returning to crime after a person has already been punished or rehabilitated for a previous offense. In simple terms, it is repeat offending. Recidivism is repeat offending. So if you have had a relative or yourself, maybe, if you have been to prison and you have not been there once, there must be a reason. And that is actually what we are talking about, recidivism. I know even some people cannot even pronounce it well. You can try, wherever you are. The word is recidivism. I can even be faster. But as you get it and as you get to understand it, this is our topic for this morning. And I'd like to ask that all of us really wake up. And if you are using your phones, hold them. If you put them away, you are going to miss a lot, because I can guarantee you this training has around 100 plus slides, because most of it is graphical and I want to explain. I also know that from the background of this country and what we do, some people shy away. Eventually they ask you, what do you do in prisons? And you see what we are doing is really concerning everybody in terms of family. And family is big. It is either your relative, it is either your child, it is either your uncle or somebody who is in prison. And like the Bible says, when I was in prison, you visited me. And sometimes people tend to visit more people who are in hospital than those who are in prison. But really, it is the same cause. It is the same cause. Building family and sustaining family is very, very, very important. So we tackle it, we deal with it, and by way of sharing, then we get to know each other and know what we are doing. I want to move my slides. Okay. So what are the objectives of this morning? One is to know what recidivism really means, understand the success of UPS rehabilitation approach, and also to know Uganda Prison Service contribution to socio-economic transformation of Uganda. Because if we only stop at recidivism as a topic, then I think we have not said it all. Because the approach that we use as a rehabilitation measure in Uganda prisons eventually extends into what is called economic gains. Economic gains. Why? Because much as we punish people, much as we rehabilitate people, we at the same time get something out of this process. And those are the gains, which is contribution to social economic transformation. So as I said, recidivism is the tendency of a convicted person to reoffend. At the moment, the percentage of prisoners who are arrested for similar other offenses in a given time differs from country to country. But at the end of the day, it is there, It is so high, especially in developed countries, surprisingly. And if I can tell you, in Uganda, only stands at less than 14%. And this has been deliberate. About 20 years ago, it was about 35 or higher. And yes, the approach has been to say, we have crime. How do we stop crime? Or how do we now stop people who have been in conflict with the law and in prisons from reoffending? And that is, of course, very, very, very particular. And as a country, we have harvested, we have been given credit, and all is well with us. Gentlemen and ladies, I have just a call it.
Ryan, Robert, I think you are muted.
Yes, I asked that I want to just communicate something, and I'm done.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you for bearing with me. And so I said that the percentage stands at less than 14 in Uganda. In other words, if you release 100 people, there's a possibility that 14 of them will be brought back. This may look high from an ordinary point of view, but we are saying that other countries are higher than that. And we are saying that Uganda, therefore, we have a cause to celebrate. Look at that. Rates in sampled countries, and some of them are neighboring us. In Norway at 20%, Sweden at 43%, Denmark at 32%, Finland at 32%, Singapore at 27%, in Rwanda here 36%, Zambia 33%, Ghana 24%. This is just a sample. What this means, therefore, is that for us in Uganda, if we are talking of just 14%, we can as well celebrate, because that means that out of the 100 people that we release, then we are likely to see 14 of them come back to prisons. Now, the key, the ways countries measure recidivism is, of course, related to rearrest, because the person is arrested again for a new offense. He may be in for defilement, next time he's in for theft or robbery. He can also be in for or convicted because the person is found guilty now of another offense, or for re-imprisonment. The person returns to prison after release. These three, they don't mean the same, though they look the same. Rearrest, reconviction, re-imprisonment. Somebody can come to prison and goes back out without a conviction because probably he was not guilty of the offense. Now, if this person comes back as a remandee and maybe is not also guilty, but he's part of the statistic, we also count him. Because why is it you that is being thought about and related to a crime, even when you have not committed it? So when all those things happen, we still look at them as possibilities of recidivism. And each country, as I've said, really relates to recidivism in terms of that. Why it matters is because it shows the effectiveness of the prison system in rehabilitating offenders. It tells government whether community support, even reintegration programs and rehabilitation are working. It helps calculate the social and economic costs of crime, because I can guarantee you that when there is an issue of imprisonment, it is the state that pays for its criminals, for people who are behind the bars. So at the end of the day, it is how much does government really spend on people that are behind bars, which money would be used for other economic purposes. Now, as I said, Uganda Prison Service sometimes said this is one of the objectives, is to really share about what we do. But our vision is the center of excellence in providing human rights-based correctional services in Africa. The mission is to provide safe, secure, and humane custody of prisoners while placing human rights at the center of their correctional approach. And the goal is transformation of every prisoner into a responsible, law-abiding, economically productive citizen of this country. And as such, we have a mandate, the mandate which is custody of prisoners and rehabilitation of offenders. Now, this mandate relates very clearly with the reason that I chose this topic. What is our mandate? Custody of prisoners and rehabilitation of offenders. It is very, very cardinal. Very, very cardinal. So if we are going to see a surge in recidivism, it means that our rehabilitation efforts have failed or have not been taken seriously, or we are doing so little to improve and make sure that people do not return to prison. So our strength is therefore drawn from our mandate. We are responsible for custody of prisoners, but we are also responsible for their rehabilitation. And along the way, we shall be seeing exactly what all this means. I have brought you these statistics. They are of March 2025, because the current statistics, not that they are not there, but I wanted to show you something because they still or more or less are the same. We have a number of convicts, which are 39,000, and remands 35,000. This really shows you something. That our system is a little lopsided. Why? We have more, just a little more convicts than remands. And if the system has to work very well, particularly, it must have more convicts than remands. Therefore, people are serving sentences for which they have been found guilty. But in a situation when you are fined very many remands, then it means some people could even be serving or they are in custody for no offenses they have committed. Having said that, therefore, the total number of our prisoners is about 80,000. Being kept by staff as of today, this is really confidential, don't share it, about 13,908. Of those, 9,600 are male, and female are 4,221, which is about 30%. It is a fair share because even in terms of prisoners, what we know is that, and what is very clear is that 5% of the total population constitute the female population of prisoners. And therefore, when you have a female staff of about 30%, it's very, very balanced and actually overbalanced, because for us, we believe that female prisoners must actually be catered for by female staff. Now, having said that, I'm giving you the opportunity to know our numbers and our staff. We want to talk about the legislated and the assigned mandate of prisons. Uganda Prison Service has been, of course, has a mandate, which is custody of rehabilitation of prisoners. In other words, if we only did this throughout our service, nobody would blame us. But in our rehabilitation approach, but also government realizing that it is spending more on prisoners, it has decided to assign us other mandates so that it can also call it recouping most of the lost money in maintaining and caring for these prisoners while in custody. So these are the assigned mandates. One of them is production of maize grain. The other one is production of maize seed, and I will be explaining them because they are rehabilitation tools. Production of cotton, production of sunflower, as well as furniture for government departments and MDAs in general. So we have been given these mandates specifically now stretch ourselves beyond so that we can meet the rehabilitation purposes, but also government has given and increased our budget so that when we do these assigned mandates, then we recoup and economically we transform our country, Uganda. Now, the functions of the Uganda Prison Service, therefore, are of course written. They are clear and they are here with us. And if we went into them, we would really see what all this means. But in understanding the functions or the Why? Prisons. Prisons derives its functions from the Prisons Act of 2006, which clearly spells out the functions of the Uganda Prison Service as follows. One, to ensure that every person detained legally in a prison is treated in a humane, safe, kept in a safe custody, is produced in court when required until lawfully discharged or removed from that prison. All right? Secondly, is to facilitate the social rehabilitation and reformation of prisoners through specific training and education programs. And I will be explaining some of these. Thirdly, is to facilitate the reintegration of prisoners into their communities. But we must be very cognizant of why recidivism, why is there repeat offending in this country? And some of the arguments have been that there is lack of education and employment, and that one we don't want to say that it is not there. We want to acknowledge that it may be really one of the things that gets people into crime because they don't have what to do, and at the end of the day, I mean, what else can they do? That's what they can do because they are also hard up. They want to survive, and because they want to survive, they commit crime. But there are also possibilities of mental issues, health issues for people to commit crime. Some people commit crime even unknowingly because either they are on drugs or substance abuse. They are compromised and then end up committing crime. The other issue is peer influence. Because we are saying sometimes it is a question of whom do you show me your friend and they'll tell you your character. So the peer influence, most of our children, especially the young and teenagers, they get influenced so easily. We call it peer influence. So you see them going to drugs, going to alcohol abuse, they go into theft, all these, because they are like teaching each other. And we know it. It happens in schools. It even happens in less areas where there's not a lot of even less interaction areas, but where 2 or 3 people meet, they teach themselves habits that eventually lead them to prison. But there's other one is social and environmental factors. I can assure you that if you don't do so much about stopping recidivism, people who have come to prison, they pick a lot of vices. Somebody will come as a simple thief. By the time he goes, because he's paired with those who have graduated into robbers, he can become a very big danger to your society. But alongside, there are so many, there's inadequate rehabilitation programs, not necessarily in Uganda, but also they are not very well spread. So you find that most of the well-established prisons, they may have adequate, but then the former local government prison may not have enough. Then there's stigma and social isolation. Even people who have come to prison, once they are released, people talk ill about them. The family does not trust them. Even when they are not guilty, they keep saying, you must be responsible for this crime. And so people get stigma, they get social isolated, and they may go back to prison. They also have a lack of support systems because, we even teach something and actually try to implement something. And this goes with making sure that prisoners who are due for release, we go back to their communities, we prepare them so that when they go out, they are well received, they are well catered for, so that they settle in. And this other thing is called criminal identity. As it were, if a cow goes missing on a village, the first is who has come from prison or who has ever visited prison. And eventually, we talk about now recidivism cycles this time around. When I was OC Masaka, I remember a person was supposed to, but on a Friday before, he attempted to escape. So you can imagine, you are going on Monday, but on a Friday, you only have now Saturday and Sunday, and you try to escape. The purpose was actually to be rearrested, retried by court, and sentenced again. What does that mean? Some have become jailbirds. They consider prisons their homes. Some of them, prisons are better than home. And this is the fact. This is the fact. That's why, for example, the tendency in some of the developed countries, these countries are harsh. The weather, the winter and everything. Somebody has nowhere, is a street person, he stays on the streets. So for him to stay in prison is a joke. It's a joke, but a good joke for him. So he'll commit crime or even knowingly or unknowingly be in conflict with the law. But when he's in prison, he doesn't feel any pain whatsoever. So prison becomes home. But we are saying that as Uganda Prison Service, for us, we are trying to making sure that we tackle recidivism because it has a number of positive factors. So why tackle recidivism? One is public safety. There are so many risks with failure to tackle recidivism, especially rehabilitating people. When people are in conflict with the law and when they get used, then they are likely to injure public safety a lot. Economic costs. We are saying now we are about 80,000 prisoners. If everybody was more or less coming back to prison, then it would be even 90,000 or 100,000. And what an expense it would be for the country to make sure that it actually tackles these people. It also tackle the cycle of poverty and unemployment and reduce the strain on families. I have been an officer in charge. I see how much effort families, women, children put in to come and visit their relatives, all right? Their relatives. But I've also seen in situations where our prisoners earn under something called the earning scheme, people who are working in industries, people who are saving money because we pay them some small money, families coming actually to take this money so that it can help them. Those are family strains. You're in prison, you don't have enough, but even the small you have done, you must give it out to your family so that they can survive. So we also have to do this so that we overturn the overcrowding in prisons, but also ensure that the human potential is restored. So how do we do it? How? One of them is education and job training in prison, and I'm going to explain very briefly, shortly. It's also mental health and substance abuse treatment. We have re-entry programs and support services. Re-entry programs, as I said, re-entry is going back to the community programs and support services to say, we send our rehabilitation officers to first go and survey, because we have had actually issues. Somebody is supposed to be released back to community, and the community clearly says, and glaringly so, that if this person comes back to the community, he will be harmed, he will be hurt. So we come back and talk to the prisoner and say, please, release, but you are not going to go back home if you want your life. So we tell them, and of course we don't have the means, but we tell them, and if they use our communication very properly, they relocate, but they survive. You know, you have seen people who actually the villagers and the community have simply chased away from their communities. And part of them may be prisoners. So because we have that information, because we integrate, then we make sure that these people are safe by going to other places. But there's also what we call cognitive behavior therapy, or CTP. This is something that we practice because we know that once you want to really tackle behavior, then you must go for exactly what caused this behavior, how is it controlled, and how best can we overcome. But there are also other intervention programs in our systems so that our people can really engage. I just shared this picture of the maximum security prison where we keep about 3,300 now instead of 680 prisoners, just to show you that there is a lot of congestion. And when we are saying we have programs, we should have those programs that should actually tackle and bring numbers down. That's the maximum security for men. That's the maximum security for women. This is our new prison. This is our savior. You remember, during COVID time, this is where we isolated everybody. I can imagine because of the numbers that we have. If we didn't have this new facility where we isolated everybody who came back, who came to our court through court to the prisons, we probably would have lost so many prisoners. So it was a savior. It is located in Kitalia. It is a minimax. It is not as maximum, but in terms of the new improvements, this prison helped us to isolate people. And that's why, in effect, we lost about only 5 prisoners to COVID. Why? Because we deliberately separated them. And we said those new ones, if by bad luck they must die, let them not actually affect those who are already in prison. Just information for you. So the Stosky Repository of Uganda Prison Service that on 1st July 2006, the Prisons Act was enacted and by Parliament, and that's where we drive our mandate. And the rest is history, because prisons have been here for a very long time, stretching to 18,000. But of course, like the upper prison was built in 2017, maximum security prison of this country. We have had and shared work with Uganda Police. We're actually a product of Uganda Police. At one time, we are simply a department of the police. And we did the same trainings, and eventually we started doing our things because everything became hard. There's this small saying that a criminal's best ally is his liability. We understand it, we acknowledge it, but we also want to say that sometimes this is overduly used. Sometimes our people really change, and this is a success factor. A rational criminal to engage in a criminal activity considers the following. One, he considers that he'll be arrested. Yes, probability of conviction given the arrest, plus severity of the sentence if arrested. So we know that people who commit crime are very aware of the consequences. But having said that, and knowing the consequences, we are seeing them return. And that's why it is our major concern that we reduce the return to 0 if possible. And therefore, standing at 4%, at 14% now, we are saying we have some victory to celebrate. Prison conditions, therefore, may act as a deterrent. Prison conditions may therefore act as a deterrent. So, generally, the purpose of imprisonment is threefold. One is a deterrence, 2 is a retribution, and the last one is rehabilitation. Deterrence, nobody should do the crime. Stop doing the crime. Retribution, there's somebody who is aggrieved, the victim. If he doesn't see somebody punished, then for him, he has not been served. And therefore, that is retribution. Everybody here, even when you punish your child, there is some retribution you want to cause so that you are satisfied that probably somebody wronged me, I want them punished so that. But what is the major one is the rehabilitation. Deterrence, retribution, and then rehabilitation. So those are the 3 purposes of imprisonment, that once you are in conflict with the law, once you are taken to prison, and once you go back, then you should not come back to prison. But there must be a deliberate effort to rehabilitate you. And that is what Uganda Prison Service is doing. So the action of discouraging an action or event through instilling doubt or fear of the consequences. You have even had countries really threatening each other, but what deters them are the consequences. What are the consequences? The retribution, the punishment inflicted on someone as vengeance for a wrong or criminal act. And then rehabilitation is the action of restoring somebody to good health or normal life through training and therapy after imprisonment or addiction or illness. And this is what we really tackle most. Then how then, if you are following me very clearly now, you should now see, and I should take you now, how then does Uganda Prison Service tackle recidivism while promoting economic transformation to our country? I said one of the objectives is to know recidivism. The other one is to show you the economic benefits out of our rehabilitation programs. Protection of the society from criminals. People here, remember there was a crop called vanilla. If you go into history, that vanilla crop disappeared because of theft of that crop of vanilla. People started sleeping outside with pangas and spears, only to harm their relatives, their brothers, and until this lucrative crop became a menace, people started killing themselves and their families. And they said, I think they lost steam and this crop died. But we're talking about protection from criminals. Now, prisons in themselves, they help us to sleep. They help us to keep away prisoners in custody, and then we can do economic activities with less pressure of the fear to be stolen everything that we have made and kept jealously. So by taking custody of the offenders, prisons protect society and encourage production. That's why I was saying that I'm very hurt about that group called Vanilla, because of the level of theft, because we couldn't actually keep everybody in prison so that we protect Vanilla. So the current population of about 79,293 prisoners, if they released them at a go, even this evening or today, I can guarantee you lions and guests. So it is common knowledge that therefore lawlessness discourages investment. So we are talking about crime prevention and social transformation through rehabilitation of offenders, whereby convicted prisoners are rehabilitated through giving them life skills. We give life skills to prisoners. Currently, Uganda Prison Service is holding 39,000 convicted prisoners. These by law are expected to work. They're not supposed to be redundant. So we have various forms of agriculture. I'll show you how we do our crop, livestock, and fish farming. We are into industrial training in carpentry, in tailoring, in screen printing, in soap making, in handcrafts, metal fabrication, shoemaking, name it, and hairdressing. And we are saying we have the labor. We have the labor to do all this, but we are also trying to maintain that labor and motivating that labor by something called earning scheme for people who dig in our gardens. Give them, I think, those who are not very skilled, about 500, those who are skilled, about 1,000. It may look like small, but if you save it, it becomes bigger. So the success by rehabilitation. Over 10,000 offenders acquire life skills per year through these other things I'm going to show you. And upon release, offenders use these acquired skills to resettle and engage in development activities. It is therefore common knowledge that incidence of crime then reduces as potential criminals engage in development activities. So, what are UPS or Uganda Prison Service efforts at economic productivity? As reflected in the development goal and assigned mandate, Uganda Prison Service engages in direct production in various fields. These are the three, as I've mentioned: agriculture, industrial training, and formal education. We have said that one of the possible causes of recidivism is the lack of education and the power to be employed. And therefore, that's why we are tackling formal education, as I explained. Agriculture. We are into commercial maize production and other crops. We are actually doing 40% of our food requirements through maize because we basically feed prisoners on maize. We are into maize seed production. Maize seed, not the maize for eating, but the maize seed. And these are assigned mandates. We are the major producers of cotton for this country, for the GINAs. We are into sunflower growing. And of course, we are into cattle rearing, we are into afforestation, we are into fish farming, where we have dams and water. And all these, we do them as we impart skills. So, Uganda Prison Service has about 130,000 acres of arable land in different ecological zones. And we have labor, as I said, a daily average of more than 30 convicted prisoners who now help us to do the cotton seed production. And most of these are labor intensive. Therefore, we need the labor. But most of them are full-time experienced technical agricultural staff, which we have and deploy. So we have the staff and deploy them alongside skilled prisoners. That's how we get our gains. So the commercial maize production, we are into production and we are harvesting about 25,000 tons of our maize, which is approximately 20 billion per year, as I have said, about covering about 40% of our food requirements. The food, the maize contributes to feeding of inmates, and this, if we didn't do this, then government would pay more of this. Then the science teachers and the teachers themselves would not have increases in their salaries. So these savings are channeled to critical development activities, and that's why we think as prisons, because we are able to save government that percentage, we are making a contribution. So here we are graphical. These are our maize gardens. Some of you have visited our prison farms. This is a prison in Masindi. This is the extent, but our farms are just like that, the ones which grow maize. This is after harvest. This is now showing you what we do. Those are prisoners, of course, shelling, storing maize. What you can see in the background are basically the cribs. The cribs is where we keep the maize. What you see in the background, those. After that, then we bring them here, shell them so that you can get the seeds ready for milling and eating. So these are your relatives and friends, our prisoners, of course, engaged in prison's work. Those who are not looking at these pictures will need a lot. I hope they are. And then after that, we weigh normally 100 kilograms, and then we dispatch to other prisons. But you can see this is all labor intensive. It is done by our prisoners. But in this process, everybody understands what to do, how to harvest, how to store, how to actually keep the temperatures ready, normally at about 13%, the moisture content. And these skills that we give, they go back with them. They go back with them, and then they do their stuff when they go back, definitely. We don't stop them from going. So these are the maize cribs, as I told you. They get the skills of even building these cribs. Those cribs are built by them. Those are prisoners. You know, like in a room, we have about 1,500 prisoners. So in a day, if they go out to work, you can know whether they are tractors or not tractors. These are many people. They really provide labor. But each one on their own is learning a skill or two with which to go back to their homes. We allow them even to operate. Those who have experience, we allow them to operate our tractors. As you can see, these are just all the prisoners operating a tractor and digging and helping our staff, especially where we don't have enough or where somebody is sick. A prisoner will go on a tractor and operate. And I can guarantee you that prisoner in question, the one driving, we know where he's based in Kinyara Sugar Works. After here, he got a job and they trust him so much to do their activities. So Uganda Prison has gotten an increase in budget. We have a lot of machinery. Sometime about 3 years ago, we are receiving these tractors and dispatching them for production in various prisons. Here you can see His Excellency the President visiting one of our prison farms, prison farm called Rimi, and this is where actually he learned and got to know that we have a lot of capacity using our budget. So apart from maize grain, which I've shown, we also into maize seed production, because originally seed production and processing was left to the private sector, and some of the companies are not as genuine, so they were adulterating the seeds and giving seed that does not actually germinate, because they are vetted by price. And for national food security and quality, Uganda Prison Service has been assigned this mandate. It is doing the maize seed, which has about 97% or more, and that is one of the leading institutions serving and supplying maize seed to the communities for production. So Uganda Prison Service started producing maize seed in the financial year 2015 as a pilot from government, but as in essence, of course, this is done by prisoners, and currently we are producing that number of metric tons. And our germination rate, as I said, is about over 95% for most people. And therefore, it is a big success. And therefore, we are the most trusted, one of the most trusted producers of seed. That is not a road, that is seed under drying. We were still rudimentary then, but now we have gone, this is our seed ready for marketing at our showroom in Jinja, at the agriculture show. This is one of the shows, I don't remember which year, but this is our pack. And this is our seed ready now for dispatch. We have distribution centers all over the country, especially at our regional prisons, and anybody who is interested can go there and get it. Those are the seed multiplication farm at Rimi. Those which you see are like white male lines. The green lines are female. I don't know biologically how they do it, but eventually they produce the seed that we eventually plant and then get the results. So now we have done full commercial. We have equipment. This is our Commissioner General who's inspecting our new plant for processing seed at Rimi. And because of that, now we have enough capacity to produce seed. The next one is sunflower growing. I know we are getting time bad, but we are the major producers of sunflower that we supply to Bidco, that supply to Mukwano for edible oil. So the edible oil that we are doing is being done by prisoners. Again, through this rehabilitation effort, they are getting skills. Those are some of our gardens. And then we have already market with the major leading edible oil producers, and then we supply. The next is cotton. The service is historically known for cotton production, and whereas cotton is a low value crop in terms of gate prices, it makes gigantic contribution to national growth through support industrial growth for textiles especially, employment creation, generation of revenue, and earning of foreign exchange. So Uganda Prison Service has again been identified as a potential, especially because of the element of labor. And so currently the service is producing 10,000 bales of cotton per season, and we have a projection to increase our acreage and then go to about 100 bales of cotton. The service is also planning to establish its own ginneries so that we can benefit from value addition, because we have only been giving to ginners, and I think we are making some losses. So here you can see our former minister, Obiga Kania, and Hilary Oliem, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, the Commissioner General, and others, at the commissioning, especially after Good Harvest, in one of the farms in the north. This is our product ready, for transport to the ginners. That is how we deliver our cotton to the ginners. But that is the cotton garden. And we have established actually that cotton grows anywhere on all the soils. And where it can't so well, you just apply some fertilizer and you'll have it. So we are into a lot of cotton production, and we are glad that the government gave us this mandate. At an individual level, it may be very difficult for a prisoner or ex-prisoner to engage in this, but we are simply saying that for them, they are getting the skill. If they get out, they can go and get employed on cotton farms because they know how to keep it, how to harvest it, and how to keep it safe before it is eventually sent to the ginners. But these are efforts that Uganda Prisoners is doing as an assigned mandate through the prisoners to deliver this crop cotton to people. The other one is cattle rearing. As you are aware, we have a lot of farms and we do a lot of rearing and multiplication. In fact, Christmas time is the time we actually enjoy our cows. But we are also into breeding, and we are giving to farmers the best of the breeds. Those who wish, they can visit our farms and get our animals and crossbreed or whatever the case. But now we are also into fattening. We have reduced and we are using the cribs, maize cribs and others to make sure that we fatten our cows. And so our cows are no longer traveling miles looking for grass. We are into forestry. As I said, we are teaching prisoners how to do forest. This is a 100-acre forest in one of our prisons in Ugori. It is doing well. It is a demonstration, but it's also saving the environment, the future. The second is industrial production. The Prison Service established various industries. And those who know me, I have been a commissioner for prisoners industries. And but what we have is carpentry, we have tailoring, we have sub-manufacturing, we have metal fabrication, among others, as well as screen printing. But through these efforts, our aim is to make sure that we skill the prisoners. So it should be noted that His Excellency the President of Uganda guided that all government departments begin to procure their office furniture from prisons. Yes, we have been garnering the capacity, and now we are almost there. We have new workshops, we have had an increase in our budget, and we are set to go. But it was as a result of knowing that as prisons traditionally we have been producing very quality furniture, and the service is projecting to produce furniture worth 7.5 billion per annum, and I think going even higher than that. But of course, this saves the country of forex outflows, hence improving the balance of payment position. So this is the furniture produced by prisons and by prisoners, of course, as it were, at our showroom in Rugogo. We have the biggest, actually in the country, the timber drying kiln, which can dry 2,000 pieces of mahogany or any other wood. And this is in preparation. Once you want to do furniture, then you must have it dried. We have the most modern carpentry workshop at Upper Prison, and we're establishing another one shortly at Kitalia. All these are meant to give people, prisoners, the skills that they will need to do this furniture. So if you want quality furniture, if you want long-lasting furniture, boardroom furniture and the rest of that, then one-stop center may be prisons. And what you'll be getting are the products done and made by prisoners. So we are doing a lot of this, and we thank government for increasing trying to get ready every time. And apart from that, we are also into welding. We teach prisoners welding. We actually make all the welding. We come and make their orders and we sell, but we also make weldings for all doors, beds, name it. Recently, not so recently, but about I think 5 or 6 years ago, there was the Branduri Settlement Project where we did all the doors and windows. The police did the blocks, the army did the construction, and this was bringing the forces, the armed forces, at the center of economic gains and making sure that we save for the government. A house which would have ordinarily taken about 35 million shillings, we were able to do it at about 20 million shillings with our combined efforts of Uganda prisons, Uganda police, and the Uganda army. So these are the Branduri projects which we also did. But alongside that is that prisoners, for them, they get experience of our contribution. These are the windows and everything. And in the end, the commission, His Excellency, the President, was turned to commission this project. And as you know, it is a settlement project where we had a hand, where we think that we contributed economically as a saving. But of course, as I said, these are furnitures, again, for different government projects, done, assembled, and supplied by Uganda Prison Service. I think recently we had some partnership with the Rotary Peace Center at Makerere University, where we also supply them furniture. But we are also into shoe making. This is not so much, but this is the skill. As you can see, everybody does their part. And on the release, somebody does not need capital. He only needs where he can, a lot of capital. He only needs a veranda where he can and set up his project and start doing. And giving these skills, we are very, very cognizant of the fact that most of our prisoners can actually start off these projects very well with minimum or very little. But we're also into tailoring. This is basically our trademark, tailoring. We make our own uniforms. We make uniforms for prisoners. We have the biggest now, the garment cutting machine, which can actually cut all our uniforms in 2 days. For prisoners, 1 day for staff, and for anybody who is interested. So here we are using it to cut, then we transport and start making. So the efforts of making sure that we really do the best have been there. We are skilling women, skilling the gentlemen. This is our new workshop at Kitalia Minimax Prison, where a number of prisoners get skills. They do their uniform. This is our minister, Tafire, inspecting, some time ago, looking at what we are capable of doing. These are the things comparable to what the president is showing the people. These are your relatives. These are our children. These are getting skills from these workshops. When they are released, they only need a sewing machine and some space. Such a relative, a neighbor, somebody who has some good heart and say, can I put my machine at your veranda? And that even on release, he will start making money. So these are the rehabilitation processes that we are talking about that will eventually transform it. We are doing partnerships with governments. Here we are doing a project for NIRA, screen printing and making sure that if you have seen those NIRA aprons and the rest were done and in record time, because we So this is a project delivered. Of course, as I said, the skills is just what we are talking about. We're into soap making. Soap making, make sure that we impart skills. These are just formulas. So we have actually, we have a project for women to making soap. if they go with their formulas, they can go and make soap. But for us now, we have become big and we have acquired the QMark and we are to from production and supply of our liquid soap. These are prisoners making, packing, and ready for distribution of our liquid soap made in Uganda Prison Service. We are also into bar soap making. This is again formulas which we are giving the skills, the prisoners. These are packing, those are packing materials. And if you go to a supermarket and you find a bar soap called Gereza, Gereza meaning prison, it is Gereza multipurpose laundry bar soap. Buy it with pride. It is done by our prisoners. As I said, we are into screen printing. We are simply showing you and showing that prisoners are skilled. We are making the signposts for our prisons, for orders. And as I said, the magic is labor. We have everything. We have everything. So long as we have the materials, we shall skill our prisoners and they do it. This is weaving. This is self-help project. This is again environmental friendly. All that you are seeing they are using is kavera. So if you have bags of kavera, you just take them and drop them and ask the prison officers to receive them. They have a good day with them to make all this that you are seeing. But these are at an individual level, and these guys are getting their skills. Nobody is stopping them. Most of the things that you see at Buganda Road, they are products from prisoners. Very cheap, but very quality. Very cheap, but very quality. Those are just waste. They would be rubbish kavera. And that is what we do. Of course, we are into construction. We have an engineering gang. As I told you, I am in charge of engineering. And we use prisoners. That is the new Ntungamo prison, all done by prisoners. By prisoners under instruction and, of course, guidance by our instructors. These are acquired skills. Even if you know nothing, you start mixing sand, they tell you what to do. By the time you go, you have the skills and you can go and work at a building site. This is our new storage ward. Actually, the first one, storage ward to Luzira Prison, again constructed by prisoners under instruction. Now, the last one, very quickly, is education. Uganda Prison Service promotes education for rehabilitation, but of course, motivating people for change, converting human resources into human capital, and evoking the people's consciousness. We have formal education and FAR, or functional adult literacy. Formal education, this is primary, secondary, and tertiary examined. So we have UNEB centers, we have libraries. Our people go to school, they go to libraries. We have very many people who have donated books and scholastic materials. They have labs, they go and they do their chemical whatever. The senior P7 at senior 4 at senior 6, they sit and do national examinations for which they get certificates. This is our Kitare Minimax inmate school. Every prison now we build, we must put a school. It is deliberate to make sure that people get schools. That is one of our reputation programs. And by the way, it is on record that those who have passed through our schools, more or less none has come back by way of recidivism. Because they have, first of all, somebody comes, he goes to primary, he goes to senior 4, he goes to senior 6, depending on his length of imprisonment. And by the time he goes back, a truly transformed person with knowledge. But alongside that, of course, the prisoners teach themselves. If you come in, you're a teacher, you teach prisoners. If you are senior 6, you teach. But alongside that, government has also recruited teachers for us, and we are using them to make sure that we impart knowledge and we transform people who come and would otherwise miss the opportunity of education. These are inmates sitting national exams at upper prison with scouts, with all the requirements, and at the end of the day, you know what happens. Whether we are the first, whether we get the, but we shall always have our space on the dailies. I thank Gilvas Indianabo. We shall have our space on our dailies because we have sat exams as Uganda Prison Service when the exams come out. This is a celebration of victory, but people pass very highly with good grades, and then they go back to their societies when they have passed. But we are also into professional courses. We are in partnership with MOOCs, and if you can see clearly in that picture, we can see our Commissioner General of Prisons, the then Minister of Internal Affairs, Dio Dongo, the retired MOOCs Chancellor, MOOCs what? Balunywa, and this people were getting their diplomas in accounts, in audit and whatever. So the graduations actually take place in prisons. The obvious probably would happen if we took the graduates to Makerere for the graduation. So we are into business, making sure that our people get diplomas and actually external degrees, online degrees. All this is effort, deliberate effort by Uganda Prison Service to make sure that people do not go back the same. This was one of the best students after getting, and I think he's receiving the brown envelope from the Chancellor. Our challenge is that crime has not stopped and is not about to end. I can guarantee my job for the next time until I retire. This is not something to celebrate about. We wish it would be less than it should be. It is, because we have a growth rate at 8% compared to 3%. So our prisoners' numbers keep growing, even so much above the national growth rates. We have inadequate infrastructure for staff prisoners' production, and therefore we can't even do enough. Even in some prisons, they are too congested even to conduct, and insecure sometimes to conduct some of these schools, the trainings. So they are not, we may do education, but it's not in every prison because sometimes of lack of space. Inadequate staff, as I said, our staff's about 14,000 instead of 49,000. And therefore we cannot have a good instruction. Limited funding, inadequate financing of about 87 billion per year. It's just not enough. So what calls us as people of God to care for incarcerated people as though we were in prison with them. This is our philosophy. And as prison officers, we put ourselves in their place, and that's why we want them to become better. We realize that incarceration doesn't merely affect the people found guilty. Incarceration affects everybody, spouses, children, everybody on whom these people depend, they suffer. And therefore, the earlier they go back, the better, but the earlier they go with skills that will not allow them to return, the most better. Okay? So there's this quote that freeing yourself was one thing and claiming ownership of that freed self was another. If you go to prison and you are freed, what skills or what magic do you use to keep outside there within the community? If you don't come to prison, show interest, take part in our programs, and you go back the way you came, you are just to blame. Because now, actually, we are transferring people from central to western, from where to where, those who express interest to be trained. But some simply want to be watchers. They just sit in the prison and watch, and they don't. So the African Journal of Criminology and Justice report, January 2013, indicated that Uganda has the best prison for rehabilitation. And they ranked us the 4th globally and with the lowest reoffending rate of recidivism. One of those with the lowest rate of recidivism. I think that is a success area which we all acknowledge. In the offing, we are going to establish a laser tannery. We have had the benchmark visits. We are going to do a tannery at Bungu prison and also a garment industry. The cotton that we have been giving the Guineans, we shall be using it ourselves to generate our own growth. And of course, we shall be also starting a shoe factory as soon as next year to supply shoes for prisons, for police, for army, for all the security officers. And then after, we can start supplying schools as well. So the way forward is transformation of the prisons from a penal to correctional services. Many of you have heard that prisons are called correctional services. And because of that, we think that the more we leave the penal is punitive. Penal is punitive. It indicates punishment. But corrections, I think, is more handy. It shows that we are transforming people. So we would like at one time to be called Uganda Correctional Services as opposed to Uganda Prison Service, because that's what we are doing, correcting people. Despite public-private partnerships, we have partnered, and I'm actually glad as a Lion, I've seen very many Lions clubs going into partnering with prisons. I know Kauga, I know Shema, I know Bushenyi, I know many prisons that are actually getting with prisons to do some work, especially offering goodies and opportunities, but also making sure that they join hand in hand to make sure that we save our environment, one or the other, make sure that we grow our, of course, soliciting for more funds from government. So in conclusion, despite all efforts at deterring crime, still lingers, but criminals change, and if skilled, are valuable assets in socio-economic transformation. This one we have witnessed and we are preaching. We are saying prisoners don't remain the same. They change for the better. Therefore, Uganda Prison Service tackles recidivism while contributing to socio-economic development. And I hope that we have met our objectives. Our objectives were to know what recidivism is all about, understand the success of Uganda Prison Rehabilitation approach, and know Uganda Prison Service contribution to socio-economic transformation of this country. As I end, I want to leave you with this quote, that as I walked out the door toward my freedom, I knew that if I did not leave all the anger, all the hatred, and bitterness behind, that I would still be in prison. We, as much as possible, therefore, try to free people's conscience. Tell them, yes, you are only conflict with the law. You are here temporarily. Your home and your work and your workplace belongs out there. Once you are released, go and transform yourself and transform your community. So no one truly knows a nation until one has been inside its jails. I'm glad that many of you, as listeners this morning, have not been in jails. And if you ever be, it is a pity. But how we reform and empower those inside our prisons defines the moral and developmental strength of our nation. It is our hope and desire that everybody who by bad chance comes to prison finds no reason to come back again. Finds no reason to come back again. Therefore, we thank you for listening, and this ends. I thank you very much for giving the opportunity. I think I have 10 minutes, but I hope we are learning.
Thank you very much, Ryan Robert Munanura, for educating us about that word, recidivism. We will learn it, but we have understood what it means based on your very clear explanations, but also telling us about what the Uganda Prison Service is doing about inmates. Now, members may want to ask some questions or make comments. We now open it up for this. And I can see already some comments in the chat room. Some are personal congratulatory messages. I hope you are able to read some of them. And anybody, I'm looking for hands that are raised here. As we wait for the hands to come up, we can look at some of the comments that are in the chat room. Ryan Robert, do you want to make some?
Somebody talked about technology. Anyway, let me just scroll back just a minute. Alan Kamugisha, I think I did mention about, he talked about how we can actually make a silage and the rest of that. And I said that we are now fattening, and that is where we have gone. Because previously, we would want, of course, to do some manure through the cobs, through the cuttings, maize, whatever stocks. But now we are harvesting them. We are turning them into silage and supplying them where we have cows, so that we can do beef cattle fattening, so that our cows can have enough sizes and kilograms at the time of supply. I can see commendations, thank you, messages, education section. Somebody has not seen ICT, but yes, we have ICT. I couldn't go into everything. Where we can, we have ICT, but of course, we do it sparingly, because carefully, carefully, because then we can get hacked into, we can start getting some negatives. So yes, but we train prisoners on ICT, and somebody is commenting. Well, I think this one works directly in our prison workshop. Side of the country to benchmark and to get some more knowledge. And as I said, we shall be starting on this. Government has already acknowledged a loan for us. This is going to transform the entire country. I can guarantee you, government has thought about it wisely. By giving us this hand, prisoners will never be the same. I saw 2 uniforms among the prisoners. Apart from the yellow, I saw orange. Yes, orange is for very long termers. Yellow is for short termers. That's the only explanation I can give. And have the white one for our other prisoners called the condemned. The good life of it, to want to get more feeders out here. This is a good life part of it. No. I think prisons, the main prisons, even if you see as if people are enjoying, they are missing so much. They're missing their families. There's so much they miss when you're in prison. There's so much to miss. Can't give so much of fun. It's possible for people to benchmark on your farms. Yes, it is possible. Please ask for permission, official permission from the Commissioner General of Prisons. You'll be given an opportunity, escorted to our prison farms to do a benchmark visit. We have very many farms. We have now in Rimi, Ibuga, Mubuku, and Rimi in the Kabarore area. We have just been given 30,000 acres of land in Asua. Opening, we have just opened about 10,000. We have so much to open. But what we are talking about is that we are now within the communities who are daring enough are benefiting enough from what they can learn from us. So it is okay. Do prisoners get some certification for skills they receive? Absolutely. Actually, we take our prisoners for vocational tests at Lugogo, and people go with their certificates. The builders, the carpenters, once you are done and we see that you have qualified enough, then we take you, you sit your exams and you get your certificates. But also the primary, the senior 4, the senior 6, people get their certificates readily, and even the diplomas. People walk from prison to work because they have their diplomas. Of course, some people are skeptical, say somebody has just come from prison, but we are trying to say, look, these are transformed people. These are transformed, and everybody should make that noise that these are transformed people. They have skills now they can learn. I think those are the comments in the chat room, unless if anybody has a question. But I know that this was new information.
Yes, thank you very much, Ryan Robert. We have a hand up from PDG Ryan Benon Katate. There was a hand from Ryan Arroyo, if she's still interested in asking the question, and then you can respond to them. Thank you, Ryan Benon Katate.
Thank you so much, JRT Coordinator. Good morning to you all. First of all, a big word of thanks to Ryan Robert for this wonderful presentation. I have on the face of it known prisons as one of the most functional institutions, and I'm appreciative to Robert for giving me all this insight. Thank you so much, Ryan Robert, for giving us something which I know is even beyond the limits in terms of information sharing, but now we know it all inside the prisons. The second one of appreciation to you is for just at a mention of your name. Our clubs have been very able. They have been very well received to visit the prisons, and that is really attributed to you personally. Maybe we would need permission of Commissioner General and things like that, but at a mention of your name, we normally go through and visit these prisons. And we find the prisoners clean, and what we are doing is real because it also keeps them healthy, to be working, and diverts their minds from thinking, from from being toxic, about the pain they go through in the prisons. Just a few clarifications I'd want from you. I think there is an element of hire, of casual labor from prisoners to private sector. I don't know how you go about that. Is it allowed or it's illegal? Number two, some prisoners come out without tools to use after they have been skilled. And I would love that we as Lions and other people of goodwill are encouraged to support them so that their skills are put to use. Moreover, they are not exactly very expensive tools like in shoe repair. So these are things that we can also come in and help out. I can see your production is robust and is getting robust. I wonder how the public can access. You used to have prison shops, which I think closed. I think it is an area you need to bring back to life so that the public can access your goods. Moreover, your goods are real because many of the things on the market now are fake products and exactly not good. So we would be happy to be shopping in your shops if these shops are open for us. Last but not least, I don't know whether you talked about it. There are people who enter prisons with skills, and I'd love to know how you put them to use. Thank you so much for your time, please.
Thank you, Lion Katate. Let's hear from Lion Catherine Arodo, and then you can respond.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I want to first appreciate the and also thank the DJ for the echo. Can I proceed?
Please do, yes.
Okay, thank you. I want to appreciate the district and the DG for visiting Masaka. Hopefully she reached safely. My comments would be that really I've never had this opportunity to hear how prisons is a home to many, and maybe possibly that is why some of them decide to escape towards the end so that they can still remain at home, like how Lion Munanura presented. What I wanted to ask is that there are so many skills that have been shared. Is the outside community open to come and learn these skills as well? Or it's only given to the prisoners who are inside? Because it would actually help the community at large as well. Then also, the prisoners who do these skills, are they paid? Do they get a salary? Do they get the benefits of NSSF and all these things, Provident or something like that? Do they gain any financial benefit from this apart from the skills? And then also lastly, me being a procurement officer in National Water, there's a time we had a challenge. The Bobo policy came up by Uganda Build Uganda policy. How can we buy these products from the prisoners? How can we access this? And given the fact that these days with government dealing with any procurement or purchase, there should be registration with IFRIS. I don't know if that transaction or that procurement process would be possible with the prisons. Those are the comments I had. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lion Catherine. Lion Robert, over to you to make some reactions to the two lions.
Yeah, thank you. Lion Katate, you have talked about labor, and as you have said rightly, that you have known us as an institution that does right things. Labor is encouraged. One of the things that we find very difficult is to keep redundant people in prison. We would have riots every day. I don't know when you last heard about riots. So what we have decided is therefore to utilize that labor. And when they get that labor, then we divert most of the money to socially uplift the stations themselves. We buy soap for them, we improve, we buy paint, we do everything, we account for that money. So it is official, it is illegal. Sometimes we have had accidents, but I think it is, it is natural. You can have accidents. And that's why we have not stopped. And we are very, very purposeful with it, because we know that one of the things that can really destabilize us is redundancy. So many cases, the district prisons where you don't have land, where we don't have anything, the community should take good advantage. Somebody was asking whether community can take advantage. That is where you can take advantage. Get these people, if they are 40, a place which would take you maybe so many days, you just do it in one day, you return our prisoners, and we shall give them something as I explained. The prison showroom, we have a whole department now called the product promotion department. We don't have, for example, furniture showrooms across the country. We have only one big one at Ruzira. We are establishing one at the source of the Nile Shore at Jinja, at the farmers' village in Jinja, and we shall reach when we are really very able. What happens is that we are overwhelmed by demands. So much as we produce and have something to put in our showroom, we are more or less actually working on only placed orders. Somebody places an order, somebody has a hotel, and he wants 100 beds, blah, 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 blah. So we are like, make and they take. But as I have said, we have increased capacity and we have been given more money, and we have established a new workshop, and we have yet to establish another one at Kitalia, because at the alongside that, we are supposed to produce furniture for all the government. So we are a bit overwhelmed by orders, to the extent then that we cannot have enough to meet the orders, to meet our showrooms across the country and even establish them. So we are only still based in Kampala. If you're in Kampala, please go to Gogo showroom. You'll find the custodian building near the hall, the showroom, the Gogo Showgrounds main conference hall, and you'll find us there with a variety of products. Everything, flags, Tegobo flags, coat hangers, furniture of all types, doors, everything, you'll find them there. But it's like a demonstration center, more or less, so that you now say, I want this door times 20, and then the order is sent, they make for you, and then you go and pick. So, but for seed, we have seed, especially the maize seed, we have these selling centers at all the regional. So we have at Kachika, we have at Guru, we have at Soroti. Everywhere you can go and get seed, and can advise farmers to go there. Yes, I talked about skills development. I don't know whether I got it very well, but if you're asking about whether skills
entrance who are skilled, you know, they are teachers, carpenters, and others.
So we take a. Why is it causing the feedback? We take good advantage, and as I told you, if you know, even when we know that we should I say we suspect you to have the skill, we utilize you. Now, if we know that you have the skill, then you cannot survive us. But you also need to spend your time very meaningfully. So what we do with people who have skills, people have skills in carpentry, in tailoring, in mason work, in building, in plumbing, immediately, because on the reception, once we receive you, we take you through an interview to get this information. And once we have this information, then we use it appropriately. And how appropriate do we use it? We make sure that now we send you to these various sections within our system. So if you're a teacher, you will teach. And we use them a lot. If you're a plumber, as I said, you will be used. So people with skills are first target. But along the way, then for us, we now produce people with skills now. Once we say, where are you interested to work? You say, I'm interested in tailoring. We take you to the carpentry workshop. And so you go there and you learn. We tell you to the tailoring workshop, you go there and learn how to tailor. In a few months, you will even teach others. Because yes, we have prisoners with skills, but we also deliberately have members of staff with skills. These are the major providers. But anybody who comes with a skill, that one is good to go. And actually, they volunteer very well, volunteer to work with us, especially knowing that it is hard to spend time in prison. Catherine, Ryan Catherine, Aloyo, skills for outsiders. Did you mean to say that can the outside get skills from us? No. As I
Yeah.
said, for example, when we send prisoners to go and work, you can work with them and maybe pick some skills. But you see, this is a security institution. This being a security institution, therefore, the persons who are allowed in our workshops are only our staff to instruct. So we don't interact as we work with the community per se, except when they come in the community, like to dig and the rest of that. NSSF savings, yes, I talked about something called the earning scheme. It is very, no, for us it is good enough. It is good enough for unskilled. These guys who dig, they get 500 per day. Those who are skilled and now can even plant and determine fertilizers and whatever have gotten skills, they get 1,000 per day. Times a week, that is 7,000. Times a month, that is whatever thousand. So, as I said, even their relatives and some people come to pick this money from them. So we keep it with them. They sign for it when they want. They are able to buy things. They are able to buy sugar. They are able to buy some things because we give them some money that way. So it is called earning scheme. This is money provided by government to pay employed labor within the prison. Products availability. Yes, our products are available for sale. As I said, in our showrooms, in our regional centers, especially the regional prisons. Issue of insurance and registration, yes, because we are suppliers. As I've said, we are the first stop center now for government entities to buy our furniture, for example. And therefore, when we bid, we go through all the processes of procurement. We go through all the processes of procurement and we finish that. But these small sellings, I think of a coat hanger or a flag, because actually we are the ones who do flags for the whole country. Maybe I did about that. I think when you come, you just get a receipt. I don't think we are doing increase for that. But you see, for us, everything, government gives us a budget, we implement the budget, and then all the proceeds, we then bank them with the consolidated fund. And that's the beauty. So government to government, we are simply doing government work, and there's no big deal around that. I think that's how I can attempt to answer those questions.
Thank you so much, Ryan Munandra. I'm sure people are happy. We will not have time for more questions. Since Ryan Munandra is with us, those who have pressing questions, they can always approach him. Before I hand over to the governor to conclude and maybe even make announcements, I would like to recognize a few Ryan dignitaries. A number of our Ryan dignitaries have made contributions, so I don't have to repeat them. But at the risk of missing some, because based on what you see, you may miss some people, but just a few. I have noticed we have Ryan Samson Indegwa from 411A. Ryan Samson Indegwa is a past governor, PCC. And we have our second vice district governor, Ryan Lawrence Mujisha. And I want to appreciate our leadership team, Ryan Charity Atwine and Ryan Sylvia Kusemererwa. They are very active in organizing these, and I really, as the GLT team leader, I want to really appreciate them. Thank you very much. Now I would like to hand over to the governor to give her concluding remarks. After that, we will open, as per tradition, to everyone for what has become popularly known as Chimeza. Lion Governor, Lion Tush, over to you. I'm trying to see if the governor is still on. If the governor has fallen off, I will ask Ryan Lawrence, second vice district governor, you can give us concluding remarks and any other announcements. Ryan Lawrence. I haven't seen the cabinet secretary in case of an announcement, but I will, on behalf of the governor's team, thank everyone for joining these meetings, these study sessions, and all the activities. As I mentioned last week, when you see the charts in our WhatsApp groups, you can see that the lions are roaring across all the hills and valleys of this country and beyond. I've been reminded that Lion PCC Rizwan is also here. Thank you very much, Lion Rizwan, for joining us, and everyone for joining. And with that, I open it for Echimeza, so you can tell us what is on your mind, what is making you happy, but also the other area where you think you would want to share with us. Over to you, and that officially concludes our discussion this morning. And once again, thank you very much, Ryan Robert Munanla, for that very clear presentation.
Thank you.
Echimeza in progress. Lion Karuru, you normally help us start the Echimeza. Tell us, what is it what's cooking in the East?
If I can ask, has anybody ever been in prison? As a prisoner?
As a visitor.
Yeah, I know, as a prisoner.
Of course I knew what you.
But that will not answer that one.
That is a difficult one.
I can only say that you are not welcome as a prisoner, but as a visitor, you are always welcome.
Lion Tuke, where are you this morning? Tony.
Oh, yeah. Yes, thank you very much. I'm Tony Kate. I'm in Mahagi, just near the border Goli and the Nebi. And I really appreciate the presentation this morning. To answer the question whether or not anybody has been to the prison.
You have no obligation to answer.
I think I was about to get into prison when I was a kid because I didn't behave very well. But fortunately, my aunt was around, and then she fought and then discussed with the police officer. And in the end, I did enter the prison. So I have never experienced prison. And I'm also happy to share with you that in Mahagi, we are conducting an eye camp since the 20th of November, a very big eye camp. And we managed to get colleagues from Bunia, from Goma, and one even came from an ophthalmologist from this area who came from Dar es Salaam. We have examined more than 3,000 patients, and by last evening, we managed to get more than 300 cataracts operated. So partnership has really paid, and we are grateful with this idea of serving. Thank you very much.
That's huge. Thank you. God bless you. Any other comments, fellow Lions?
Lion Gervas, good morning to you.
Yes, Lion Karuru.
I want to thank the presenter, Lion Munanra, for what he has presented today. But at the same time, I also want to thank, last week was not a good week for the Lions. We lost
Yes,
three
yes.
relatives. That is a doctor, then our PCC's father, then a lion in the Tororo. I just want to thank the people, the Lions who came in hand to assist the bereaved, and thank you very much for being together with the families that lost you. Then on another note is Busia is trying to keep afloat. We are trying to reach out every week, which through talk shows. And this Friday we talked about the child, the national child policy. Bearing in mind that we are supposed to be having a national, a celebration for the children. I encourage all Lions also to have some activities in relation to that. As we come to the December celebrations, I also request that members should be careful during this festive season. Drive carefully, drink carefully, move carefully, so that you don't visit any Bunanura's institution. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wants to say something?
Yeah, this is Lion Charity. Good morning, members,
Yes,
and
Lion Charity.
thank you for logging in today. I would also take this opportunity to recognize PCC Rizwan Kadri, PCC and Chubi were in attendance. FDI, Wycliffe Were, Ananganga. Tunamkaje huko? Shikamoo. Then we also have the district officer. Mungu anasaidia, Mungu anasaidia. Sasa I just wanted to
Thank
to
you.
The GLT team, what are we having next week? Probably you would announce it.
Next week. Okay.
Go on.
I'll comment on that.
Go on, Charity. Go on.
Next Saturday, we are going to have a presentation from Lan Shabil Khalifan from 411C on mental health. The same presentation we had in the African Forum in Kigali, and much more. So members, let's mobilize and have the public especially attend, because this is something very important that we need to listen to. And we are going to start sharing the flyer as soon as possible. Thank you very much, PDG VCC JB Ntangare, for the reminder. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lions you've had, so be ready for another exciting presentation next Saturday. Okay, so it's open. We'll keep it open for a while. If you want to turn on your video and you want to say something. Lion Samson in Degwa, do you want to say something to the Lions? Lion Mohammed, you can say something. I see your hand is up.
Hello everyone, how are you doing today, fellow Lions of Uganda? All good, I hope, and Kenya?
Good. How is Tanzania?
Tanzania, we are going on properly. We are going on slowly, trying to see as situation goes forward.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, my name is Lion Mohammed Taki from District 411C. I'm part of the Leo team in District 411C, and I thank you for this amazing training, especially Lion Mananura. I thank you for that amazing presentation on helping us know what goes on in in the political system of Uganda. It's really an eye-opening, especially in the prison systems. And thank you so much for all that you do. I will take this opportunity, not in an official capacity, but I will just like to give an advance notice and an introduction and invitation to all for the Multiple District 4-on-1 forum that will take place in Dar es Salaam in April of next year. So we are already in the planning stage, and I hope to see as many lions from Kenya, Uganda, and Leos. So we look forward to meeting you. And I know Lion PCC is here. He's hearing us out. So I will not try to overstep my boundary, but I just wanted to invite all of you for the Africa Forum before even the actual the Africa Forum, the multiple district forum, and Leos are also arranging, and more information will come soon in the coming days as details are finalized.
Thank you. We can't wait to return to Dar es Salaam. We have very, very good memories, very fond memories of Dar es Salaam and the warmth of the lions from Tanzania.
Karibu sana, karibu sana.
Asante sana. Thank you. Anybody else before we sign off? Yes, Lion
Maybe just say hi.
PCC is one. Yes, Lion and Nganga, then PCC is one. Yes, in that order.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm really happy to be here and to hear what happens in the Ugandan prisons. For me, it's just to appreciate the occasion and the chance to listen. And I just wanted to ask in Uganda whether you have the Data Protection Act, because one of the things the GLT team in 411A is planning to do is have a webinar very soon to talk to Lions about the issue of data protection, especially in the work we do with vulnerable communities, taking pictures and how we expose them. Recently in Kenya, there's a group that got fined for using photos of people without their consent. So that's something the GLT in Kenya is planning. So I just wanted to know in Uganda, what is the situation? Thank you.
Thank you. The direct answer to the question of the Data Protection Act is yes, and it's active here. And that's a good idea. My team, I think it's one of those that we can do. It would be helpful. We can even tap into other resources. And if I'm not mistaken, most of our countries, the acts are very similar. When you read them, they are similar. The Ugandan one is similar to many of the countries. I haven't read the one of Kenya, but I want to believe it's similar as well. Thank you for that. I think it's one of the leaves we can take. Lion PCC is one. We are all ears. Would be happy to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Gervas. A very good morning to all. It's always a pleasure to hear a very good colleague of mine, a very dear friend, and PCC, Lion Munanura. He is an authority in what he speaks, and we have an insight now, a better insight in what happens in prison, and God forbid that any one of us gets into prison. But nevertheless, my club in Dar es Salaam is going to have an occasion on the 1st of December, going to a hospital and giving out gowns to the maternity expectant ladies. Now, what I just wanted to share was that some of our hospitals, not only in Tanzania, but in Africa, are just like prisons for people who are suffering and they do not have enough finances, enough support. So once they go in, they feel like going out is so difficult because they cannot pay. Sometimes they are detained inside because they don't have the funds enough. So we have different areas where we do see people suffering, and we've also been doing the same practice at the prisons because they also lack in Tanzania. They lack, soap as well. So when you give them soap only, it's like you have given them the bread for the day. So I do understand that we need as Lions to work in this area and help out because not all who go to the prisons are meant to stay in the prison. And by giving them their earnings in what they do is a fantastic way forward. And should I be able to voice my concern on this, I will definitely pass it to some of my friends who are in the prison departments and just try to talk to them that this is the best way forward. And they say Lions should follow the best practice, and telling stories should be what we should aim for. Further to this, I'd like to thank everybody who has joined these early morning breakfast meetings, and it's really fantastic. These are eye openers. I also would like to tell Anenganga that yes, in Tanzania we also have the Data Protection Act, and it is really, keeping us focused. We cannot even take pictures of children and put them in the media. It's not allowed unless there is a special consent we get. Further to that, we would be having, like what Mohammed said, our convention. We are really working hard on it, and we've just finalized a new venue, which is, of course, a venue which everybody knows is the Golden Tulip next to the beach. It's just been rehabilitated recently, and I look forward to welcome you all in numbers. And the website should be on in a week's time. Thank you very much for giving me this occasion to speak, and a very good morning to all of you.
Thank you very much. Now we leave it there. If anybody wants to speak, it is free until we close. Thank you. God bless you. Have a blessed weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.